It was a rainy Thursday afternoon when I found the letter. I had been sorting through my late wife's belongings, a task I had avoided for months. Her death just 6 weeks prior had left a void in our home so deep that even the echoes of our children's laughter seemed hollow. I wasn't ready to face the reality of her absence, and yet the boxes of memories were stacked in the corner of our bedroom, silently demanding attention. I noticed the envelope tucked behind a photo frame, our wedding picture faded at the edges. It was unusual, she had never left anything behind without telling me. The envelope was old, the paper slightly yellowed, and her handwriting, familiar yet fragile, scrawled across it. To my dearest husband, read only when I am gone, do not trust our sons. My hands trembled as I held it, I had to read it. Slowly, I opened the envelope and unfolded the letter inside. Her words were written with care, as though she had poured every ounce of her remaining energy into conveying them. My love, it began, if you are reading this, it means I am no longer there to speak to you. I am leaving this note because I can no longer bear the thought of hiding the truth from you. Our sons, the children we love more than anything, are not who you think they are. I blinked, disbelief clouding my vision. How could she say such a thing about our own sons, Ion and Faison? They had been my pride, my joy. Both were in their mid-20s now, successful, polite, and seemingly devoted. Yet her words struck like a hammer to my chest. Do not trust them with our wealth or our home, the letter continued. There are things they have done, things they will do, that will hurt you if you remain blind to them. I know this will sound impossible, but please watch carefully and protect yourself. I read it over and over, my mind spinning. I wanted to dismiss it as the ramblings of a grieving mind, but deep down, a small voice whispered that my late wife had never been one to exaggerate. She was cautious, wise, and deeply perceptive. If she said this, there was likely a reason. The following days passed in a blur. I kept the letter hidden in my drawer, but my eyes could not avoid watching Ion and Faison whenever they were around. At first, it was subtle, a lingering look, a misplaced tone, a vague unease I couldn't explain, but slowly little things started to emerge. It began with the finances. I had always trusted my sons to help with family investments, the small businesses we had built together over the years. Ion the elder had recently suggested that I transfer some savings into an account for safekeeping, claiming it was a standard procedure for tax purposes. Something about his insistence felt off, though I couldn't place it. Faison, on the other hand, had started asking questions about property deeds, casually inquiring which assets were solely under my name. Their questions, innocuous as they seemed, now carried a weight I could no longer ignore. One evening, I decided to follow Ion. I drove slowly behind his car as he left the house, pretending to be on a casual errand. He turned into a quiet, dimly lit street, eventually stopping at a warehouse I had never noticed before. I waited until he entered, then parked at a distance, peering through the rain-streaked windshield. Inside, Ion met with a man I had never seen before. I could hear fragments of their conversation. Words like payment, documents, and pressure floated through the walls. My heart raced. This wasn't the careful, respectful boy I had raised. It was a man involved in something secretive, possibly illegal. The next day, I confronted Faison subtly. During breakfast, I mentioned casually, I've been thinking about the property documents. Would you like me to review them with you? His reaction was telling. His face tightened, a shadow of irritation crossing his features before he masked it with a smile. That night, I could not sleep. My wife's letter haunted me. I had to know the truth. I decided to investigate further quietly without alerting either of my sons. I started checking bank statements, cross-referencing withdrawals with their claims. Slowly, the picture became clear. Large sums of money were being siphoned off, disguised as investments or fees. Ion had been funneling money to accounts overseas, and Faison had been forging my signature on several legal documents. My stomach churned. I felt betrayed, angry, and deeply hurt all at once. The next step was risky. I needed evidence. I installed a small security camera in my office where the documents were kept. Days went by, and finally the footage revealed everything. One night, both sons entered the room together, laughing casually, confident that no one was watching. They went through files, photocopied papers, and even discussed how they would handle matters if I questioned them. The betrayal cut deep. These were not minor mistakes. They were plotting, premeditated, and cold. I called my lawyer the next morning. He advised caution. If you confront them without evidence, it could backfire, he warned. I nodded, knowing he was right. I had to proceed carefully, just as my late wife had intended. A week later, an opportunity presented itself. Ion and Faison requested a meeting under the guise of discussing the family's finances. I agreed, bringing my lawyer discreetly along. The meeting was tense from the start. They tried to charm and disarm me, speaking in calm tones, hiding the sharp edges of their intentions. When the conversation shifted to the transfer of assets, I revealed the truth. "I know everything," I said, voice steady despite the storm raging inside me. I showed the security footage, bank statements, and copies of forged documents. The room went silent. Ion's face drained of color while Faison's eyes widened in disbelief. "Dad, they stammered. "You betrayed your mother and me," I said firmly. "Everything she warned me about has come true. I will not allow you to manipulate or steal from this family. You will return all that you have taken, and you will step back from the business until we sort this out legally." For a moment, it seemed as though they might lash out, but seeing my resolve and the evidence laid bare, they realized resistance would be futile. Both sons reluctantly agreed, and legal steps were immediately initiated to protect the family assets. In the weeks that followed, I felt a mix of relief and sorrow. Relief because the danger had been averted, sorrow because the sons I had loved had chosen greed over family. But through it all, I felt my wife's presence beside me. Her foresight, her love, and her courage had guided me even after her death. Without that letter, I might have been blindsided completely. One quiet evening, I sat alone in her favorite chair, holding a photo of the three of us, my wife and our sons, taken years ago in a sunlit park. I whispered a silent thank you to her. Her warning had been painful to accept, but it had saved me from betrayal far worse than I could have imagined. From that day onward, I vowed to be vigilant, to protect what she and I had built, and to honor her memory by being wise and cautious. Trust, I realized, was precious, fragile, and sometimes dangerous, but love, even beyond death, could guide you through the darkest of times. And so, I moved forward, careful yet hopeful. My late wife's letter was more than a warning, it was a lifeline, a reminder that even in loss, her love would shield me from harm.